medical answers, but it does offer spiritual answers. Now, psychology, Carl Jung said psychology is the study of the psyche, the psyche, the soul. And he said, we don't know what the soul is. So it's another religion. It's an attempt to deal with the spiritual side of man from a humanistic standpoint. It does have its roots in the pagan world, in Eastern mysticism. For example, you can very easily see the connection between Freud's two major theories, the unconscious mind and psychic determinism, that what we are today is caused by the prior experiences of, our childhood. That's what reincarnation teaches. That what's happening to me today, what I am today, is the result of my prior experiences been in a prior life. Very close relationship. So it's only natural then that many psychologists and psychiatrists not only regress you into your childhood, but they now take you right on through the womb into past lives, into reincarnation therapy. The whole idea is to manipulate reality. Now, the difference between that and what the Bible teaches, you're going to have to redefine the Bible. Eve rebelled against God, brought a lot of problems into her life. Well, obviously, the reason she did it was because she was abused as a child. She was raised in a broken home, in a terrible environment. It was her childhood experiences, Not so. Or Satan, who rebelled against God in Isaiah 14. His problem was he had a bad self-image, low self-esteem. Not so. So I would suggest that if anyone has a solution to human behavior and the evil that comes into our lives and the frustration and the unhappiness and the fears and so forth that doesn't fit the case of Satan or it doesn't fit the case of Eve, who was raised in a paradise, they don't have the right solution. And unfortunately, Christians today are embracing something that they add to the Bible that comes out of Eastern mysticism, it comes out of paganism, it comes out of the occult. It comes from godless anti-Christians, and they're now somehow joining Freud with Christ, Carl Rogers and Maslow and so forth, for a new kind of therapy, a new kind of counseling that mixes the Bible in with humanistic psychology.
Many doctors and nurses today are obliged to pursue folklore and shaman medical techniques labeled as scientific. In Britain, government-financed national health doctors advocate the practice of transcendental meditation instead of conventional medicine.
Thousands of MDs, PhDs, chiropractors, and dentists are enthusiastic proponents of New Age holistic medicine. These New Age practitioners operate from the premise that treatment of the body must begin with treatment of the mind and spirit. These therapies involve countless techniques, most of which incorporate altering one's consciousness or hypnosis.
Always part of the occult, hypnosis has become the main bridge between Hinduism and modern science. Hypnosis creates the same states of consciousness that you experience under drugs and in yoga. Accepted in medicine and psychiatry, hypnosis is the heart of self-improvement and positive mental attitude courses. And hundreds of misinformed Christian psychologists use hypnosis in their daily counseling.
Many believe that hypnosis is okay if used by qualified counselors. Somehow used by the right people makes it scientific and not occultic.
In pursuit of Freudian myths, psychiatrists use hypnosis to regress patients back into their childhood and into the womb where they relive the traumas of their birth, despite the scientific fact that the prenatal, natal, and early postnatal brain is not sufficiently developed to carry memories.
I did indeed experience my original birth thought, but I felt it wasn't enough. I went back and I experienced my thought during my conception, and then I went back from there to a previous lifetime to experience why I had structured my conception the way I did. I mean, it's never ending. You can just keep going.
Moreover, they take them right back into prior lives where they come out with factual recountings of lives they've lived all over this earth. Obviously, the memory is not coming from the brain. It's coming from a deceptive source.
The field of medicine is embracing numerous New Age beliefs that cannot be explained scientifically, such as acupuncture, which claims to manipulate the Kundalini force with needles, and biofeedback, which uses a monitoring device to train a person to control ordinarily involuntary functions, such as blood pressure.
The Menninger Clinic's documentary on biofeedback calls it the yoga of the West. Elmer and Alice Green, pioneer biofeedback researchers, admit that it creates the same state of consciousness and results as yoga.
This electronic yoga has now been introduced by psychologists into the world of sports, including the Olympics.
Businessmen are coming to yoga today because they want to be relaxed in the middle of their day. They want to train their ability to concentrate.
Self-help therapies are a motivational tool used by hundreds of competitive businesses across America. Weekend success and positive mental attitude seminars and mail-order subliminal persuasion cassettes promise to improve personal and business performance through a blend of humanistic psychology and Eastern mysticism. One such course, called New Age Thinking for Developing Your Full Potential, has changed thousands of lives for such prestigious clients as the IRS, CIA, U.S. Army, Navy, and Air Force, NASA, General Motors, IBM, Xerox, Rockwell International, Bell Telephone System, Bank of America, and scores of police and fire departments.
The human potential movement, with its emphasis upon self, self-esteem, self-love, self-acceptance, a positive self-image, is simply a westernized version of the yogi's self-realization, the guru's concept of the divine within, that we're all God. Rolling Thunder, the Shoshone Indian medicine man, has said, scientists will eventually discover what pagans have always known. That's exactly what's happening through the invasion of Eastern mysticism into the West.
Many leading scientists have enthusiastically embraced Eastern mysticism in recent years. Hinduism, which claims to be the oldest religion, is being deceptively packaged as the new science.
And a lot of the East is very seductively packaged. It's put over very carefully so that they don't stress the religious side, they'll put the scientific. They don't stress the spiritual side, they'll put the physical fitness or whatever.
The yoga we teach has nothing to do with religion. It is scientific methods in the way that you do something and then you get results.
Maharishi found out that in the United States that people would not buy the religion package. So offered the scientific package, started getting scientists involved, started to do experiments on meditators such as the breath rate, the brainwave patterns, etc. And when they found out that the metabolic rates lowered during meditation, they found they could present it scientifically and people would buy it better that way.
Even as teachers, we were taught the puja ceremony. We were bowing down to Hindu gods, and yet we didn't really feel we were teaching a religion.
I think that's extremely deceptive and dishonest, because the deeper you get into it, for instance, as people are initiated and so on, what they're taught is the pujas and the basic words and the rituals that are Hindu worship. Of course, many Englishmen and Americans don't realize what the words mean, but if they just asked what the Sanskrit meant, they'd realize that's fundamentally religious, and the whole thing is basically, in that sense, dishonest.
Children practice it. It is used for teaching languages. It is used for the businessmen, for all levels of society. It's taught in the schools.
In schools across the Western world, from kindergarten through university, Hindu occultism is being openly taught in spite of the otherwise enforced separation between church and state.